The war was over, but the work was just beginning. The galaxy had been reshaped by the fall of the Galactic Order, and now humanity and its allies stood at the crossroads of a new future. The U.S. Ascendant had led the charge, and Captain Alex Hunter, once a humble officer on Earth, now stood as one of the most important leaders in the galaxy. As Alex walked through the halls of the Ascendant, he couldn't help but reflect on how far humanity had come. Earth had once been a tiny, insignificant planet, hidden away at the edge of the galaxy. Now, it was a beacon of freedom, hope, and strength, a symbol of what could be achieved when people fought for what was right. The Council had been formed, bringing together leaders from across the galaxy. Species who had once been divided by war, fear, and hatred were now working side by side to rebuild the galaxy. The days of oppression were over, and the future seemed brighter than ever before. But there was still much to be done. The galaxy was vast, and many worlds had suffered under the tyranny of the Galactic Order. Entire civilizations had been destroyed, their cultures lost, their people enslaved. Rebuilding wasn't just about fixing physical damage. It was about healing the scars left by centuries of war. Alex stood at the bridge of the Ascendant, looking out at the stars. The Council had made great progress, but the road ahead was long. There were still challenges to face, questions to answer, and decisions to make. The future of the galaxy depended on the choices they made in the coming years. "Captain," Lieutenant Clark said, stepping up beside him, "the Council is ready for the next meeting. They're eager to discuss the plans for the reconstruction of the Outer Rim systems." Alex turned to her, a sense of determination in his eyes. "Let's go. It's time we show them that this new galaxy will be different. A galaxy where every voice matters." The meeting was held in the newly built Council Chamber, a massive structure on the Ascendant that represented the unity of all the species who had fought for freedom. Leaders from every corner of the galaxy were present, each one eager to contribute to the rebuilding process. As Alex addressed the Council, his voice was steady and confident. "The past is behind us," he said. "The Galactic Order is gone, but their legacy of division and fear will not vanish overnight. We must build a new future, a future where peace, cooperation, and equality are the foundation of everything we do." The Council members nodded in agreement, but Alex knew that words were only the beginning. It would take action to make those ideals a reality. He looked around the room at the faces of the alien leaders. Many had suffered great losses, but they were united in their desire to create something better. Together, Alex continued, "We can build a galaxy where no one is left behind, where the mistakes of the past don't repeat themselves. The future is ours to shape, but it will require each and every one of us to work together." The Council meeting lasted for hours as ideas were shared and plans were laid out. But by the end, one thing was clear. The galaxy was no longer divided. The war was over, and a new era had begun. As Alex walked back to the Ascendant's bridge, he felt a sense of pride wash over him. Humanity had done the impossible. They had brought down the Galactic Order. But now, they had to prove they could lead with compassion and wisdom. The galaxy was counting on them. Looking out at the stars once more, Alex knew the journey wasn't over. It had only just begun. And with humanity at the helm, there was nothing they couldn't achieve. The galaxy had been forever changed. The once mighty Galactic Order had crumbled, its empire reduced to dust. The U.S. Ascendant had led the charge, and humanity's strength had proven itself on the battlefield. But as Captain Alex Hunter gazed at the stars, he knew the true challenge was not in defeating an empire. It was in bringing the galaxy together in peace. The Ascendant now rested in Earth's orbit, its engines quiet after the long journey from the heart of the Galactic Order's domain. The crew had returned home as heroes, but they were already focused on the next steps. Earth was no longer just a small, isolated planet. It was now a beacon of freedom in a galaxy that had long been dominated by fear and control. In the command center of the Ascendant, Alex stood before the holographic display. His mind was racing, thinking about the future. There was much work to be done, but the hope was real. The alliance that had fought against the Galactic Order was still strong, and now it was time to build something lasting. "Captain," Lieutenant Clark said as she entered the room, "the Outer Rim representatives are ready to meet with us. They want to discuss the next steps for the galaxy." Alex turned, his gaze firm yet calm. "Good. Let's bring them in. It's time we start putting this galaxy back together." The representatives of the Outer Rim Coalition, along with a few other species who had joined the resistance, soon arrived in the conference room aboard the Ascendant. There were leaders from different worlds, each one representing the hopes and dreams of countless beings who had fought for freedom. They had seen the horrors of the Galactic Order, and now they stood together, united by a common goal: to create a galaxy where every species had a voice. "We have to ensure that the peace we fought for holds," said Xerath, the commander of the Outer Rim forces. His voice was deep, yet filled with emotion. "The Galactic Order tried to divide us, to break us down. But we have proven that together, we can achieve what seemed impossible." Alex nodded, understanding the weight of those words. "This is a new beginning. The old ways are gone, and now it's time to create something better. But it won't be easy. We have to rebuild trust, establish new alliances, and make sure no one is left behind." The meeting was long and intense, as leaders from across the galaxy discussed the details of the new order they would create. It was clear that not every species agreed on everything, but one thing was certain: they all shared a common goal. They would not allow the Galactic Order's tyranny to rise again. By the end of the day, a plan had begun to take shape. A new council would be formed, made up of representatives from every species that had fought for freedom. This council would oversee the rebuilding of the galaxy and ensure that every world, no matter how small, had a voice in the future. As the meeting concluded, Alex looked around at the faces of the leaders. For the first time in his life, he saw hope, not just for humanity, but for the galaxy as a whole. "We've made the first step," Alex said, his voice resolute. "But this is just the beginning. We'll face challenges, but I believe in what we can achieve together." As the leaders left the room, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had proven that it could stand up to the galaxy's greatest power. Now, it was time to lead the way to a future built on cooperation, unity, and hope for all. The war was over. The U.S. Ascendant floated silently in the vast emptiness of space, its once darkened hull now glowing from the soft light of distant stars. The battle that had torn through the galaxy, the battle that had seemed impossible, was won. The Galactic Order had fallen, its once imposing fleets now reduced to debris. The Ascendant and its allies stood victorious. Captain Alex Hunter stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. The stars that once seemed so distant now felt like a new beginning. The galaxy had been freed from the oppressive grip of the Galactic Order. For the first time in centuries, many species could breathe freely, knowing they had a future without fear. "Captain," Lieutenant Clark said, her voice breaking the silence, "we've received messages from every corner of the galaxy. The Outer Rim fleets are celebrating, and the news is spreading fast. The Galactic Order is gone." Alex nodded, a faint smile on his face. "It's hard to believe," he said, his voice soft. "But it's real. We've done what no one thought was possible. The galaxy belongs to those who fight for it, not those who control it." The crew was quiet, their faces filled with a mixture of exhaustion and relief. The months of war, the battles, the losses, it was all finally over. But Alex knew that while the war had ended, the real work was just beginning. The galaxy was in pieces, and it was up to them to help put it back together. "We'll rebuild," Alex said, turning to face his crew. "The galaxy is ours now, but it's up to us to make sure it stays free. We'll work with the Outer Rim Coalition and every species that fought with us. Together, we'll create a new future." The crew nodded in agreement. The Ascendant had led the charge, but it was clear now that the galaxy's future was a shared responsibility. The various species that had joined the fight against the Galactic Order had proven their strength and determination. Now they would work together to rebuild what had been destroyed. But rebuilding wasn't just about fixing the physical damage. It was about healing the wounds of war, making sure that the hatred and division caused by the Galactic Order didn't take root again. Alex knew that the galaxy would be tested in ways it had never been before. There would be new challenges, new threats, and new decisions to make. As the Ascendant sailed through space toward Earth, Alex couldn't help but think about what the future would hold. Humanity had proved that it could stand against the galaxy's greatest powers, but now they had to prove they could lead. The Ascendant wasn't just a weapon of war, it was a symbol of hope. And Alex knew that symbol would inspire the galaxy for generations to come. "We have a lot of work ahead of us," Alex said, "but we've proven that humanity's place in the galaxy is not as slaves or subjects, but as equals. We've fought for freedom, and now it's time to secure it, for everyone." As the ship's engines hummed softly, Alex looked out at the stars once more. The journey wasn't over. It had only just begun. The news of humanity's victory over the Galactic Order's patrol fleet had spread like wildfire across the galaxy. What was once an empire of unbeatable strength now had a vulnerable spot, and the galaxy took notice. The Galactic Order could not afford to let this challenge go unanswered. They were no strangers to crushing rebellions, but humanity was different. They had something no one had expected: the U.S. Ascendant. The Ascendant had proven itself in battle, but now humanity and their new allies in the Outer Rim Coalition were ready to take the next step. They had no illusions about the challenges ahead. The Galactic Order would not stand idly by as they took more territory. A full-scale war was about to begin. On the bridge of the U.S. Ascendant, Captain Alex Hunter stood looking out at the vast expanse of space. His crew was working tirelessly to prepare for the battle ahead. The ship's weapon systems were checked and double-checked, the AI Titan running simulations, and the crew readying themselves for the next phase of their campaign. "Captain," Lieutenant Clark called out, her voice filled with urgency. "The Galactic Order is mobilizing. Their fleets are assembling near the Epsilon system. It looks like they're preparing for a full assault." Alex turned to face her. He had expected this. The Order would not take their loss lightly. "We need to get there first. We can't afford to let them build up their forces." The Ascendant's engines roared to life as it made the jump to the Epsilon system. The Outer Rim Coalition ships, though smaller in number, followed close behind, ready to fight for the freedom they had long been denied. Alex knew the odds were still stacked against them, but for the first time in a long while, they had a fighting chance. As they entered the system, the Ascendant picked up signs of the Galactic Order's fleet. It was massive. Dozens of ships, some of them huge capital vessels, with weapons capable of wiping out entire fleets. But Alex wasn't worried. He knew the Ascendant's strength and the resolve of his crew. This was their moment to strike. The first attack came swiftly. A group of Galactic Order ships broke away from the main fleet and advanced toward the Ascendant. They fired first, their weapons lighting up the space between them, but the Ascendant was already moving, its engines propelling it with a speed no one expected. The Ascendant's guns responded in kind, blasting a path through the incoming fleet. A massive energy beam hit the lead enemy ship, tearing it apart in an instant. "That's how we do it," Alex muttered to himself, his voice steady. The Ascendant's firepower was unmatched, and they had only just begun. The battle raged on. The Galactic Order's ships were relentless, but the Ascendant's agility and firepower made it a nightmare for them. With each blast, the enemy fleet began to fall apart. But the Order was not going to give up easily. They began to send in reinforcements, overwhelming the Outer Rim Coalition's smaller ships and pushing them back. "Captain," Lieutenant Clark shouted, "the Outer Rim Coalition's forces are being overwhelmed. They need help." Alex's mind raced as he assessed the situation. The Ascendant couldn't fight on two fronts at once, but there was no choice. "Pull the Ascendant back to assist the Coalition," he ordered. "We have to make sure they don't lose ground." The ship turned, its weapons firing in all directions as it shielded the Outer Rim ships from the overwhelming forces of the Galactic Order. The battle was far from over, but humanity's resolve was clear. They had no intention of losing this war. Not now, not ever. The war had dragged on for months, each battle adding fuel to the fire of humanity's resolve. The U.S. Ascendant had led the charge against the Galactic Order, and humanity's new allies in the Outer Rim Coalition had proven themselves brave and loyal. Yet, despite their victories, the enemy still held strong. The Galactic Order was powerful, and their fleets were vast. But now, the Resistance was united, and that unity was becoming a force that even the Order could not ignore. Captain Alex Hunter stood at the bridge of the Ascendant, staring at the holographic map in front of him. The final battle was near. The Galactic Order had gathered its entire fleet at the heart of the galaxy in the Scifi system, a place of deep strategic importance. The time had come to strike the blow that would shatter the Order's hold on the galaxy. "Captain," Lieutenant Clark said, her voice firm, "we've received confirmation from the Outer Rim fleets. They're ready. They're all in." Alex nodded, feeling a mixture of pride and determination. The galaxy had finally come together, united against a common enemy. "Good. We strike now, before they have a chance to regroup." The Ascendant powered up, its weapons charged and ready. The battle would be the largest humanity had ever fought, but they were no longer the underdogs. With every passing day, the Resistance grew stronger. The Ascendant wasn't just a symbol of humanity's power, it was a symbol of hope for all the oppressed species of the galaxy. As they approached the Scifi system, the Ascendant's sensors detected the massive enemy fleet. Dozens of capital ships, each capable of devastating entire planets, floated in the system, guarded by smaller destroyers and support vessels. The Galactic Order had thrown everything they had into this final stand. But the Ascendant was no longer the only weapon on the battlefield. The Outer Rim fleets were already engaging the enemy, their ships flying with new purpose, ready to fight for the freedom they had long been denied. "We're not going to waste time with small skirmishes," Alex said, his voice calm and focused. "We go straight for the heart of their fleet. Target their command ship first. We take it down, and the rest will fall." The crew moved into position. The tension on the bridge was palpable as they prepared for the assault. The Ascendant's guns hummed with power, and the ship's AI, Titan, calculated the best approach. Every piece of technology on the ship was aligned to one goal: destroy the Galactic Order's command ship, the Vanguard, and end this war once and for all. The first shots were fired. The Ascendant's energy cannons lit up the void, sending beams of pure power toward the enemy fleet. The Vanguard, the pride of the Galactic Order, was the first to feel the impact. Explosions rocked the massive ship as the Ascendant's weapons tore through its defenses. The enemy fleet tried to retaliate, but it was too late. The combined might of the Outer Rim fleets and humanity's battleship was overwhelming. "Direct hit," Lieutenant Clark shouted. "The Vanguard's shields are failing." The Ascendant fired again, a blast so powerful that it tore through the Vanguard's hull, sending debris and fire into space. The flagship of the Galactic Order was finally brought down. The rest of the enemy fleet faltered. Without their command ship, the Galactic Order's forces lost their coordination. The Ascendant and its allies pushed forward, relentless in their assault. It didn't take long for the remaining ships to surrender or be destroyed. One by one, the ships of the Order were torn apart, their once mighty empire crumbling. "We've done it," Alex said quietly, almost in disbelief. The battle was won, but the war had ended. The galaxy was free. As the final enemy ship exploded in a burst of light, Alex allowed himself a moment of relief. They had fought for this moment, and now the galaxy was no longer under the oppressive rule of the Galactic Order. Humanity had done the impossible. "Prepare for the next step," Alex said, turning to his crew. "We've won this battle, But the galaxy still needs rebuilding. We'll lead the way, together. The galaxy had been ruled by the Galactic Order for centuries, a vast alliance of alien civilizations whose power stretched across countless star systems. To the Order, there was no challenge. Their rule was absolute, their fleets unmatched, and their technology far beyond what any single species could dream of. For them, the universe was their playground, and all lesser races simply obeyed. But on a small blue planet called Earth, things were different. For years, humans had been working in secret, advancing their technology and preparing for a day that no one else in the galaxy expected. The day when humanity would rise, not as a servant of the Galactic Order, but as a force to be reckoned with. Captain Alex Hunter, a young and brilliant leader, stood in the command center of Earth's first intergalactic battleship, the U.S. Ascendant. This ship, unlike any other, had been designed with one purpose in mind: to make humanity the most powerful force in the galaxy. The Ascendant wasn't just a warship. It was a symbol of human determination, ingenuity, and willpower. Its massive size and advanced technology were the results of years of human creativity, building on knowledge that no one else in the galaxy had. Alex, along with his diverse crew of soldiers, engineers, and scientists, had spent years perfecting the ship. Every part of it was designed to outperform any alien fleet. The ship's weapons were more powerful than anything the Galactic Order had ever seen. Its AI system was unmatched, capable of making decisions in the heat of battle faster than any living mind could process. The human race had invested everything into this one chance. As Alex gazed out at the stars from the Ascendant's bridge, he felt the weight of history bearing down on him. His crew, a mix of soldiers and scientists, worked tirelessly, preparing for what they knew would be a moment of truth. They were ready for battle, but there was more at stake than just winning a fight. They were fighting for their survival, for their freedom, and for their place in the galaxy. But while the humans were preparing for the greatest challenge of their existence, the Galactic Order continued to overlook them. They believed that Earth was just another small, insignificant planet. There had been whispers of the Ascendant, but the Order dismissed it as nothing more than a new experimental ship. They didn't understand what humanity had truly created. In the quiet of the command center, Alex's voice broke the silence. "Prepare for launch. Let's show them what humanity is capable of." As the engines of the U.S. Ascendant roared to life, the ship lifted off into space. It was time for humanity's first steps into the galaxy. The calm before the storm had ended, and the storm that was about to unfold would change the fate of the entire galaxy. The aftermath of the U.S. Ascendant's victory sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The Galactic Order had lost 3 ships in mere minutes, and word of the battle spread quickly. The galaxy had never seen anything like humanity's warship. Many believed it was only a fluke, a one-time victory, but the reality was clear. Humanity had built a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever faced. Back on Earth, Captain Alex Hunter stood in the command center, watching the news of the battle flash across the screens. The Ascendant had proven itself on the battlefield, but Alex knew this was just the beginning. The Galactic Order would retaliate. They had to. Their power had been challenged, and they would not let that stand. "Captain, we're getting a message," Lieutenant Clark said, looking up from her console. "It's from the Outer Rim Coalition. They'd want to speak with you." Alex frowned. The Outer Rim Coalition was a group of smaller, independent alien species, many of whom had been oppressed under the rule of the Galactic Order. They had never been able to stand up to the mighty Empire, but now, with the Ascendant on the scene, things had changed. "Patch it through," Alex ordered, his voice calm but filled with curiosity. The screen flickered to life, and a figure appeared. It was an alien, tall and reptilian, with bright yellow eyes that seemed to pierce right through Alex. This was Commander Xerath, leader of the Outer Rim Coalition. Behind him, several other alien figures appeared, their faces serious. "Captain Hunter," Xerath began, his voice deep and steady, "we have been watching you. Your victory against the Galactic Order has not gone unnoticed. Alex raised an eyebrow. What are you suggesting, Commander? Xerath hesitated before speaking again. We are no strangers to the cruelty of the Galactic Order. We have suffered under their rule for centuries. You have proven that they can be defeated. We wish to ally with you. Together, we can bring down the Empire and free the galaxy from their oppression. The proposition caught Alex by surprise. The Outer Rim Coalition had been divided for years, each species fighting its own battles for survival. To unite under one banner would be a monumental task, but with the Ascendant leading the charge, it was possible. We're willing to listen. Alex replied cautiously. But why should we trust you? The Galactic Order has controlled this galaxy for a long time. What's stopping you from turning on us once we've defeated them? Xerath's eyes narrowed. We have no love for the Galactic Order. Our people have been enslaved, our worlds destroyed, and our cultures erased. We will fight for freedom, not for power. If you allow us to join you, we will stand with you until the Order is no more. Alex considered this carefully. A partnership with the Outer Rim Coalition could be the key to bringing down the Galactic Order. But Alex knew that with so many different species involved, trust would be hard to come by. All right, Alex said, making his decision. We'll form an alliance. But remember this, we fight for humanity's future and for the future of every species that believes in freedom. If you betray us, there will be no forgiveness. Xerath bowed his head. Understood, Captain. We will stand by your side. The connection cut off, and Alex turned to his crew. The formation of the Alliance was a turning point. With the Outer Rim Coalition on their side, humanity now had a chance to build a real resistance. The Galactic Order's grip on the galaxy was weakening. We've got a lot of work to do, Alex said, his voice firm. Prepare for the next phase of this war. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for the entire galaxy. The U.S. Ascendant was not just any ship. It was the result of humanity's best minds working together, combining all the knowledge and skills they had developed over centuries of struggle and progress. The ship was massive, a behemoth of metal and energy, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Its sleek exterior was built for speed, while its interior housed the most advanced technologies humanity had ever created. Captain Alex Hunter stood on the bridge, staring at the blinking control panels in front of him. Around him, his crew worked efficiently, each person focused on their task. There was no time for mistakes. Today, the Ascendant would go on its first official mission, a mission that would send a message to the galaxy. How are we looking, Lieutenant? Alex asked, his voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Emma Clark, a brilliant engineer, glanced up from her station. All systems are green, Captain. The weapons are primed and ready. The AI systems are sensed. Everything's functioning at full capacity. Alex nodded. Good. Let's show them what we can do. The ship's AI system, Titan, was one of humanity's greatest achievements. It was more than just a machine. It was almost like a second commander, making decisions in real time and executing them with flawless precision. Titan had learned from every simulation, every test, and now it was ready to fight. It was designed to be smarter, faster, and more efficient than any alien system. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Daniel Harris worked with his team, making sure the power systems were running at full strength. The ship's engines were capable of speeds that would make even the fastest alien ships seem slow in comparison. The Ascendant could outmaneuver any fleet, striking swiftly and retreating before the enemy even had a chance to respond. Outside the ship, the stars sparkled brightly against the vast emptiness of space. It was time for the ship's first test, a demonstration of humanity's power. The Ascendant would travel to the outer edges of the galaxy, to a system known to be under the control of the Galactic Order. They had no idea what was coming. Alex gave the order. Engage the engines. The ship lurched forward, its immense engines humming with power as it shot through space. The crew could feel the vibrations through the ship as it accelerated faster than any ship had ever traveled before. It wasn't just the speed that was impressive. It was the Ascendant's sheer power. Every weapon was ready to strike, and Alex knew the crew was prepared for whatever lay ahead. As the Ascendant approached its destination, a wave of nervous excitement washed over the crew. The first real test of humanity's new weapon was about to unfold. Would the Galactic Order respond with force? Would they even notice the human ship before it was too late? Alex's fingers hovered over the communication system. They had received word that a patrol fleet from the Galactic Order was in the vicinity, but it hadn't been confirmed if they had detected the Ascendant. Alex wasn't worried. They had already proven that humanity could surprise anyone. The galaxy would soon learn that the Ascendant was not a ship to be ignored. "Let's get this over with," Alex muttered to himself, his eyes focused on the stars ahead. The U.S. Ascendant was ready, and so was humanity. This was their moment. The storm had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. The battle for the Ixalan system had left a lasting mark on both sides. Humanity's U.S. Ascendant had proven itself a force to be reckoned with, but the war was far from over. The Galactic Order had been shaken by their defeat, but their power and resources were still formidable. Even with the Ascendant's overwhelming strength, the fight for the galaxy's freedom was just beginning. Captain Alex Hunter sat in the command center, staring at the vast holographic display of the galaxy. His crew had worked tirelessly through the night to assess the damage from the battle, and the news was both good and bad. The Ascendant had destroyed a significant portion of the Galactic Order's fleet, but the enemy wasn't giving up. They had retreated to regroup, and their remaining ships were preparing for another assault. "Captain," Lieutenant Clark said, her voice steady but concerned, "we've received word from the Outer Rim Coalition. Their forces are retreating, and many of their planets have been attacked by the Galactic Order in retaliation." Alex clenched his fists. The Outer Rim Coalition had been allies in this fight, and now they were paying the price. The Galactic Order had always been ruthless, but this was a new level of cruelty. "We can't let them suffer alone," Alex said firmly. "Prepare the ship for immediate departure. We need to help them, or this war will be lost." The crew worked quickly, navigating the Ascendant through space toward the Outer Rim systems. As they approached, they could see the signs of destruction. Whole planets were burning, their cities reduced to rubble. The Galactic Order had not only attacked the Outer Rim's fleets, but had also begun targeting civilian populations. The message was clear: surrender or be destroyed. "We're not letting them fall," Alex said as he looked at his crew. "We fight for every life in this galaxy." The Ascendant entered the system just as the first wave of enemy ships arrived. The crew didn't hesitate. The Ascendant's guns charged up, and with a single order, Alex unleashed a powerful barrage. The enemy ships didn't stand a chance. Explosions lit up the void of space as the Ascendant tore through the Galactic Order's fleet. But there were too many ships. The enemy kept coming, and their numbers only seemed to grow. "We can't hold them off forever," Lieutenant Clark said, her voice filled with urgency. "The Outer Rim forces are too scattered. They need help to organize and fight back." Alex knew she was right. The resistance was growing, but it was still too disorganized. To win this war, they needed unity. He made a decision. "We need to contact every species that has suffered under the Galactic Order," Alex said. "It's time to unite the galaxy against them. If we don't fight together, we'll fall one by one." As the battle raged on around them, Alex sent out a galaxy-wide broadcast. His message was simple but powerful. "The Galactic Order has shown us no mercy. Now, it is our turn to show them what happens when we unite. Every species, every world, is welcome in this fight. Together, we will bring down the Empire. Together, we will be free." The message echoed through the stars, reaching alien worlds and distant fleets. For the first time, humanity's cry for freedom was heard by all who had suffered under the Galactic Order. The galaxy's fractured resistance was beginning to take shape, and Alex knew this was the turning point. The Galactic Order may have been powerful, but humanity's resolve was stronger. As the U.S. Ascendant approached the outer rim of the Galactic Order's control zone, the crew could feel the tension building. The stars around them seemed to dim in comparison to the huge ship that cut through the darkness of space. The ship was ready, its weapons powered up, and its AI systems poised to strike. This was humanity's first step into the galaxy's power game, and the crew knew that the stakes were high. Captain Alex Hunter stood at the center of the bridge, his eyes focused on the star chart in front of him. He wasn't nervous, but there was a quiet confidence in his expression. This was what he and his crew had trained for, the moment when humanity would show the galaxy that it was not to be underestimated. "Captain, we're approaching the Galactic Order's patrol fleet," Lieutenant Clark said, her voice steady as she looked at the monitors. "They haven't detected us yet. We're still under the radar." Alex nodded. "Keep it that way. Let's see how long we can stay hidden." They were close now. The patrol fleet, a small but well-armed group of 3 ships, was floating near a gas giant in the distant system. These ships were designed to monitor the area, but they were no match for the power of the Ascendant. The crew had only one goal: to show the galaxy what humanity could do. "Ready all systems," Alex ordered, his voice sharp. "Prepare to engage on my command." The crew worked quickly, each member knowing their role. The Ascendant's advanced AI, Titan, monitored every part of the ship's operation, ensuring that everything was running at peak efficiency. In moments like this, the ship's power and precision were its most valuable assets. Alex's hand hovered over the communications panel, but before he could make a move, the unexpected happened. "Captain, they'd spotted us," Lieutenant Clark shouted, her voice filled with urgency. The patrol ships had detected their presence. It seemed the Ascendant's stealth mode was no match for the Galactic Order's advanced sensors. The crew had only seconds to react. "Bring us about." "Engage the weapons systems," Alex ordered, his voice steady. "Do not give them a chance to respond." The Ascendant turned quickly, its massive guns aimed at the approaching patrol ships. The crew could hear the hum of the weapons charging up, and then, in a blink of an eye, the first blast fired from the ship's main cannon. The energy shot out with incredible speed, hitting the first patrol ship directly. It exploded in a flash of light, its debris scattering through space. The second and third ships tried to respond, but the Ascendant was already on the move. The speed and agility of the ship made it impossible for the patrol fleet to catch up. "We've got them on the run, Captain," Lieutenant Clark said, her eyes wide as she watched the battle unfold. The remaining patrol ships were scrambling, trying to form a defense, but they were outmatched. In less than 5 minutes, the Ascendant had reduced the 3 patrol ships to rubble. The destruction was swift and overwhelming. Alex watched as the debris drifted slowly away from the wreckage. "Message to the Galactic Order," Alex said, his voice calm but firm. "Humanity is not your enemy, but we will defend ourselves. Let this be a warning." The silence that followed was deafening. No one on the bridge spoke as the crew processed what had just happened. The Ascendant had just wiped out 3 ships with ease, and they had only just begun to show the galaxy what humanity could do. Alex turned to his crew, a small smile tugging at his lips. "We've made our point. Now, let's see how the rest of the galaxy responds."